Hey, Damon Sweeney here again from GetOverYourExNow.com. So, part 2 of why is it so hard to get over an ex? Why is it so hard to get over a breakup or a divorce? Now, in the previous one, I talked about fight, flight, freeze. This is an ancient system. It's millions of years old that we all have that simply takes over in an emergency. If you feel threatened enough, then this is the kind of thing that kicks in, where moms are lifting cars off of their kids and people are doing just incredible, impossible, seemingly impossible things, because this ancient survival system has kicked in, taken over all the resources of the body, devoted them all to this survival response, this threat response. The mom lifting the car off the kid is them, right? You and the kid are one. So it's a threat to you, so you do whatever you have to do. I've heard of kids lifting a tractor off their dad when it tipped over on them. Or another guy who car was in an accident and it burst into flames, and there was a little girl strapped into the back seat, and whoever was driving was incapacitated her out of the car. And the descriptions were that he ripped the back door off and saved her. So this is the kind of thing people can do. It has a downside, though. Those are direct physical emergencies. That's exactly what it was designed for, and it works fantastically. I remember running from a guy who... Anyway, I ran faster than I ever thought I ever knew I could. So anyway, it works. But it worked great in those physical situations, but now our situations, especially like with a breakup or divorce or social stresses or financial stresses or whatever, it's much more complicated, and that system has not caught up to the complexity. So we can get stuck in that state of fight, flight, freeze. And what that means is that we're stuck in a state where the blood has left your brain, because you don't need a lot of brains to do those kind of things. It's just like lift, and it doesn't take a lot of smarts to do that. So the blood has left your brain, so you really can't think. I've heard up to 72% of the blood leaves your frontal cortex, which is where you have your higher thinking functions and your memory and your creativity and so on. And your immune system shuts down, because the immune system takes energy. Anything that takes energy gets shut down. Your digestion shuts down. So if you've been having trouble with your digestion, this could be part of it. Upset stomach. It shuts down your cell repair, your cell nourishment and repair, and tissue repair. So you don't heal as fast. So all these things, all these systems in your body that you need to be healthy and whole, are living on dregs of energy, just scraps of energy, just enough to keep you going. So if you feel depleted, that's partly why. If you have thoughts that are recurring, memories that are recurring, that's you trying to process this emergency and trying to find your way through it or out of it. But it's not going to work, because it's not a physical emergency. If it were, you could just deal with it and then it would be over. Okay, so the tricky part of this is that we try to talk ourselves through it, but you can't. This is an ancient system, millions of years old, far older than the parts of the brain that deal with words and language. And they're not connected very well. So you have to find a way to connect them, and that's what the program Get Over Your Ex Now does. It has found a way to connect those and relieve you of fight, flight, freeze. It takes you out of it. Okay, I can't explain all the mechanics here, but that's what it does. And so this is the fact that it doesn't communicate with words is why therapy doesn't work very well, why all those tips don't work very well. Those are all about managing your feelings. They don't really make the core feeling go away, do they? If you check in with yourself, think of what happened, think of that person. I bet the pain is still there, isn't it? If you honestly just look at yourself and set aside all your ways of thinking about it and analyzing it. Well, I understand it. Well, I went to therapy for all this time, so I must have handled it. Well, he was trying to do the right thing. All those excuses that you can make. The pain is still there. I know it is. So that's what you haven't dealt with, and that is what Get Over Your Ex Now program does. Okay? So in the next video, we're going to talk about the superpower of denial, and why it can be your worst enemy, even though it feels essential to your survival. So tune in for that. And if you haven't, look for the link below where you can sign up for this series. This is a series of 10 where I'm explaining why it's so hard to get over an ex and how you can actually do it. Okay, next time.